Lengua 4.1, reflexive verbs. We have established that verbs in Spanish will end in either ar, or ir. However, you may have noticed that sometimes an infinitive form also has esi at the end. This is the case with alamas, for example, which we saw in Chapter 1. Lamas means to call oneself, and these are its conjugations in the present tense. You can see that the verb endings match what we already know about are verbs because lama, to call, is an ant-ar verb. The words me, te, si, and nos are reflexive pronouns. They are an important part of the conjugation of reflexive verbs. In this case, they are the difference between to call, lama, and to call oneself, lamas. There are many reflexive verbs in Spanish. They do not always correspond to action one does to oneself, but as we are just beginning to learn about reflexive verbs, that concept might be useful to you. You might consider that llamo means I call, and me means myself, which results in me, llamo, logically being I call myself. This is not an exact translation, but use the concept if it is helpful for now. We can tell that a verb is reflexive in its infinitive form if it ends in -c. To conjugate a reflexive verb, first, remove the -c. Next, conjugate it following the rules we already know for are, and ir verbs. Finally, select the reflexive pronoun that corresponds with the subject. It is important to note that the reflexive pronoun is not optional. If you are using a reflexive verb, the reflexive pronoun is required no matter how clear the context is. Note the difference in meaning. Llamé al director de la compañía, quien se llama Germán. Siempre lavo la fruta que compro y luego me lavo las manos. With llamar, llamarse, and lavar, lavarse, the verb exists in both a reflexive and a non-reflexive form. Many verbs are always reflexive, and many are usually reflexive. Be patient as you are growing accustomed to how reflexive verbs work. Try to notice them when you are reading. Many words related to daily routine, movement, and mental activities are reflexive. Some of the most common ones include the following. Ejemplos. ¿A qué hora te vas mañana? Ella se dedicó a la educación toda la vida. Me quedé en la casa de un amigo cuando fui a Perú. Ellos se levantan a las 6, se visten a las 7 y van a la escuela a las 8. En el cine, nunca me siento enfrente de otras personas. Me siento incómoda. Ahora te das cuenta de la importancia de dormir lo suficiente. The options for placement of reflexive pronouns are the same options we have so far for indirect object pronouns and direct object pronouns.